Okay, so the Indycar race happened, and a little bit of drama this weekend, just a little bit, nothing too crazy with Penske or Andretti or with penalties or anything. Pretty normal weekend, no controversies at all. But, yeah, so this is my first race weekend review, I guess. We have a few things to cover, just like with what was going on with McLaren and Andretti. Andretti and McLaren both had kind of a disaster class this weekend. Also, I'm going to be covering that restart, and also, considering Linus Lundqvist has just gotten his second podium, I'm going to talk about who I think should stay at Chip Ganassi Racing if they do downsize to 3 cars. And then at the end of the video, we got the Indy Next weekend roundup. Obviously, you gotta cover the Indycar Feeder Series. They're really good. But yeah, let's get right into it. Alright, so the first thing I want to address is what happened with McLaren this weekend, because let's be honest here, they kind of had a disaster this weekend. I mean, you could argue most of the stuff that happened this weekend with them was mostly not their fault, like Rossi having that crash, like ending up in that restart crash, Paddle having the engine failure, and Siegel speeding in the pit lane. I mean, most of that isn't really the team's fault. It's more like driver error associated, except for the engine failure. But you could also argue that, like, this stuff shouldn't be happening for a team that is trying to push for the championship. Like, if this is the team that's going to be taking Paddle Award to an IndyCar championship or to the Indy 500 win, then you gotta step it up. Because, like, if you're going to go take it up against Alex Palou, Scott Dixon, Chip Ganassi Racing in general, Team Penske in general, if you're going to try and go against them, you need to be Penske perfect, as Roger Penske would say. You need to be, like, perfect. And even sometimes perfect isn't good enough. Sometimes you need amazing luck on your side. But, like, I mean, come on. Like, Nolan Siegel, I know he's a rookie, but, like, he's been in the car, like, most of this season. He shouldn't be really getting those stupid penalties. Yes, he's a rookie. I'll cut him some slack. But, like, realistically, he shouldn't be getting that type of penalty. Paddle having the engine failure, that's kind of just unlucky. But, honestly, the team is putting the engines together, as far as I know. Or, like, doing some stuff. So, like, you could put that more on Honda, but also just on the team in general, just operationally wise. Probably a few errors. I mean, can't really control an engine failure, but, like, I don't know. Honestly, I would have rather taken, if they thought maybe the engine need replaced, maybe they should have just taken the penalty, maybe gotten a solid top 5 instead of just risking it all and ending up not finishing the race. And then with Rossi getting into that crash, I mean, honestly, that 7 car has just been really unlucky this season, especially with what happened in Toronto. That was just unlucky, and honestly is kind of made no sense on McLaren's part. Rossi gets injured on Friday. They fly out Théo Pourchaire in the middle of the night from France all the way to the US with almost no experience in that car for months. They throw him into the 7 car on one of the most difficult tracks on the calendar with no practice, just straight into qualifying. You expect him to do, like, insanely well. It's kind of stupid in my opinion, honestly. If there were really no drivers available, why not just take the 7 out and just call it a DNF for the weekend? It's not really in the championship hunt. I mean, yes, like, then it risks missing out on the whatever it's called, I forgot what it's called, the back of the grid where they fight for, like extra money and stuff. The leader circle. I mean, yeah, you could argue, hey, then if you take the 7 out of Toronto, then you might not get the extra little bit of cash. But I don't even think it's really an argument. The 7 is going to be in that bubble, so it's gonna be in the leader circle. But like, if this is a team that's gonna be fighting for the championship and is gonna be saying that they're gonna be fighting for the championship, then you just gotta step it up, because having stupid engine failures, stupid penalties, getting caught up in stupid incidents because you're at the back of the grid, like, that's not going to win you championships. Like, being at the front of the grid, like Alex Palou, Scott Dixon, being almost flawless all season and just getting those consistent results, that's what's going to win you championships. Not these crazy results, DNF here, win here, podium here, and then crash here, like out of nowhere. You're not going to win championships like that. You got to be perfect. So I feel like, I don't know, McLaren's just a frustrating team. I mean, I'm sorry for McLaren fan. That must suck most of the time. Sometimes it's really good, probably, but if this is the team that's going to be fighting for championships, you just got to step it up. And that's where I'm going to leave it. So let me know what you guys think about this. And on to what happened with Andretti this weekend. Alright, I've had a thought, I've thought about this a little bit, looked back at a few things, and honestly, Andretti didn't really have a terrible weekend. I mean, it wasn't good by any means, but it wasn't awful, It was bad for, I guess, Andretti standards, Herta with that qualifying crash, that was terrible. He was probably on from pole at that point. Honestly, he said he wasn't, but in my opinion, he was definitely gonna be on the pole. That lap, the first lap he sat was insane. It was like 185 or something like that, I'm pretty sure. That was insane. That was mad quick. But, I mean, is it worth it? Like, sending it so much just to get pole at a track where you can definitely pass, and with an aero package that you can definitely pass with, is it worth it? Putting it all on the line in qualifying, risking completely wrecking the car and taking yourself out for the entire weekend possibly? No, it's not worth it. I mean, he's third in the points right now. Pretty sure third or second, one of the two. So it's like, yes, he's making a championship charge, but like, is it really worth it? Especially if you know Palou. Yeah, especially if you know Palou, who's like definitely going to win the championship this year. If you know for a fact that he has a grid penalty, 9-place grid penalty, why would you put it all on the line if you know that you're not going to have to race a really quick driver immediately? I don't get that. But, it's Colton Herta. He's a good driver. He knows what he's doing. He's an Indycar driver. I'm not, so let him do what he wants to do. But Kirkwood, I believe he got taken out, like, really early. And that was kind of the last we saw of him. Honestly, he didn't really do much after that. And then Ericsson, I don't even know what happened in the pit stops. They just, it seemed like the pit crew just, didn't know what to do. It was, early on, a late call or something like that, and they weren't ready. I don't even know. It was just goofy. It was come on. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know whether to blame the driver or to blame the 28 crew, because honestly, they have a history the past couple of years of messing things up. Yes, you could argue the two drivers they've had in the 28 the past couple of years have been pretty mid, but both those drivers have had, well, I can't say both, because Ericsson's only been in the car for not even a full season yet, but I would say both those drivers have had opportunities to get really good results, and then just something goes absurdly wrong. So the 28 crew doesn't know what they're doing now, or that car is just absurdly cursed, because there's been some crazy unlucky moments that I just can't even fathom happening that somehow happened. So it's I don't know, I just feel bad. I don't want to say Andretti's a bad team, but what happens to them if you just look at the numbers and results off track, you would assume they're not the best. Yes, Herta had that sweep in Toronto, but the team having one good weekend, out of however many there are on the IndyCar calendar isn't going to cut it. If this, like, it's the same case with McLaren. If you're going to challenge for the championship, go up against Alex Palou, Scott Dixon, Joseph Newgarden, Will Power, Scott McLaughlin. If you're going to take the fight to them, you got to be perfect. Andretti and McLaren, they need to be perfect if they want a chance at the championship, like a real chance. I would say now it's probably over and done, because Palou has like a really good hand on it now, and is going into Portland now, which is one of his strongest tracks. So it's probably going to be wrapped up by the end of Portland. But I would say next year, Andretti and McLaren need to be like perfect if they really want a shot at the championship. I mean, I don't know though. I just feel like Ganassi just has like such a strong driver lineup that Dixon or Palou could win it like easily if Andretti and McLaren have like really any off days. You can't really have any off days in the IndyCar series. You have to be perfect all the time. So, I mean, you gotta be perfect. If you're not perfect, you're not gonna win championships. That's what I stick by. If you disagree, you disagree. But as a Ganassi fan, I've seen it before. You have to be perfect. If you're not gonna be perfect, you're not gonna win. Happened at the Indy 500 last year with Palou. It wasn't perfect. It was a little bit of a slow stop. We lose the Indy 500. Happened at Mid-Ohio this year. We weren't perfect in the pit stops. We lose the race. Yes, it was a championship. It wasn't huge for the championship. But, we have a few more off days like that. Then the championship slips out of our hands. You have to be perfect all the time. No matter what. If you're not perfect, you're not going to win. But, yeah. Let's take a look at a few interesting incidents and not controversial incidents at all, starting with the Power and Malukas incident. Alright, before we start looking at this, I just want to say I am an MSR fan. I'm not really a Malukas fan. I rep him because he's done a lot of good stuff for our team this year, but I don't know. I just feel like him going to Fort is kind of like betraying a team. Cause I don't know. I don't want to say too much because I don't want this to turn into like me hate watching Malukas or something crazy like that. But let's just take a look at this. I mean, you can't say that this is on Malukas. I'm not even a Malukas fan, really. I'm not a Power fan. I'm not a Power hater. I respect him. Some of the stuff he does on track kind of, in my opinion, shows he might be over and done with and he should probably retire. But, he's won this season. So I'm not going to say too much. But this is on Power. I mean, Malukas is already getting squeezed down almost on the curb. You have to give him room. Just safety-wise, you have to give him room. If you're not going to give him room, then a wreck's going to happen. And for a driver that's already injured, that's kind of scary. Malukas isn't, like, fully injured, but, there's still that risk of injury with his wrist. So, why are we just doing this stupid stuff? Like, why are we squeezing drivers down onto the curb, basically making them spin out? Yes, I know it's IndyCar. I know the racing is going to be hard a lot of the time, but that's not an excuse to shove drivers down onto the apron, onto the curb, and then make them end up all the way up into the wall pretty hard. That's just not okay. The fact that Power didn't get a penalty is kind of outrageous in my opinion, but it kind of got paid back when he got taken out. Yes, he was mad, but in my opinion, that righted the wrong that was done with Malukas. So I'm not too mad about what happened, but it's pretty sad. As an MSR fan, I was really hoping that Malukas could get us our second win this year, but it's probably not going to happen. Maybe next year we're going to win with whoever is going to be in that 66, or maybe even Fro might get a win, considering the Chip Ganassi Racing x Meyer Shank Racing partnership next season. I'm pretty excited about that, but hopefully we can even win next year. Maybe even this year with Malukas if things go well at Nashville and whatever the other, Milwaukee. So yeah, the next thing I was gonna look at is the restart. And so, I looked at it a little bit more, and apparently Newgarden kept a constant speed of 80 miles per hour, and apparently there was a slight mix-up with the rules. The green light is supposed to show when the leader goes, and it's not supposed to be the other way around. It's not supposed to be green and then the leader goes, but that's what happened. The green flag flew, and then the leader went, so it was just a whole weird mix-up. And yes, I don't like Penske. I don't really think anyone does, but I don't know. It's just kind of how the cookie crumbles. Penske wins all the time on ovals, so it's just whatever, you know. You move, you go on into Portland, say what you want. It's controversial, but you know, per the rule book, no rules were broken. So I mean, I guess the win is legal, but whatever, man. I mean, rule mix-ups happen all the time, so like it's kind of whatever at this point. I mean, it was kind of inevitable. Newgarden is crazy on oval, so it's like, what's the point in wasting time complaining about it? Because it was kind of always gonna happen. But yeah, I want to move on into the rumors surrounding CGR downsizing to three cars next season, because they have three drivers that are all in contention for one spot, and in my opinion, it's kind of controversial, maybe, but in my opinion, Linus Lundqvist should take that seat instead of Kiffin Simpson or Marcus Armstrong. Lundqvist is just, for a rookie to get 2 podiums in your first season and to put on pole, that is really good. So I don't hate Kiffin Simpson. He's good. I actually like him a lot. But from a money standpoint, Kiffin should get that seat. But from a, like, driver team standpoint, Lundqvist should get the seat. No question. I mean, 2 podiums. Pole at Road America. That's good enough. Kevin hasn't done a lot this season. Really, nothing really noticeable. He's been pretty consistent as far as I know. But I feel like Lundqvist just has done more to prove that he does deserve to be at that seat. I mean, at that team. And you might be saying, what about Marcus Armstrong? I'm sorry, but nah, this just not his time, you know? I haven't really seen anything from him at all, really. Like, nothing really big to show that he really deserves that seat at Chip Ganassi. I feel like he's just warming the seat for any next graduate to come up and just take it from him. So, honestly, I just feel like Armstrong is like a very long shot to keep the seat if they do downsize the 3 cars. But, I mean, that's just my opinion. You guys probably think otherwise, because, you know, I'm just a guy who's yapping about some drivers I like. So, like, let me know what you guys think. In my opinion, Lundqvist is going to get the seat, and if he doesn't, he probably should get the seat. But, let's move on to the Indy Next weekend roundup. Okay, Indy Next, the banger weekend. Lee Foster extends his championship point lead by winning by 3.5 seconds, which is outrageous. Winning from pole. Probably that Andretti lineup probably would have been 1-2 if it wasn't for Colette being stupid, honestly, and walling both him and Jamie Chadwick. But I mean, you know, that's racing. Jacob Abel comes home second. That's pretty good result. Jacob Abel is a really good driver. If he doesn't end up in IndyCar one day, I will be insanely mad because he's fantastic. and he has been for a while. But that's really it. Not really a lot happened. There was an extraordinary save. I'm gonna show that now. I mean, that's just outrageous, honestly. It's like sideways. That's insane. But I mean, that's really it for this video. Overall, pretty crazy weekend. Crazy stuff in NX, crazy stuff in Indycar. I mean, we'll see how everything goes down in Portland, but I have a feeling, considering everything that happened this weekend, it's gonna be a banger. Stupid train going on in the background. I don't know if you can hear it. You probably can't because it's stupidly loud. But, I'm gonna keep going. Yeah, Portland's gonna be crazy. I'll see you guys again for the Portland race review next week. Goodbye. Thank you for your time. And peace out.